Welcome back, students who are taking financial accounting, and we are working on the Chapter 2 problems, the Group B, and in this series, we are working on problem number, let's see here, 40, right? And we're picking up where we left off in that we had opened our T accounts and we had posted our journal entries here to our general ledger accounts, and like I had said, I had created T accounts for that, and then we created the balances in the accounts. So we're on step number 3 here, and it says to prepare a trial balance at January 31st, 2014. And so this here is for XYZ systems. So our trial balance, when we create it, should look exactly like this trial balance here, okay? The only difference will be that we have different amounts, all right? Because obviously these were dated, these were the balances as of January 15th, and we've posted entries from January 16th through the 30th. So now we're going to create a trial balance at January 31st. Remember, a trial balance, I see students go and write, for the month ending, or, for the period ending. No, the trial balance, whatever date you give it, that is the balances in those accounts as of that particular date. So when you date it, all you do is you just put the date, okay? So let me just get down to a blank screen here. And remember, these are the new balances because these are the balances after January 30th. So XYZ systems, somebody should teach me how to write better. XYZ systems, Inc. And remember, this here is center aligned. Then we put the name of the financial statement or trial balance. And then we put the date, which is January 31st, 2014. And we have an account number. And then we have description. And we have a debit column and we have a credit column. Okay. Now try to draw a straight line here. There we go. And let's see here. Okay, so basically you would put in, I'm not going to copy down because I'm doing it for myself, and really, this is, like I said, all I'm doing is just replacing these numbers here. Okay, so it should look exactly like this, except this should be the 31st, and of course the new amount. So in interest of saving time, I'm not going to write the account numbers. And when it comes to the accounts themselves, yes, capitalize, write them all out. I'm going to abbreviate and, pay attention to your underlining and double underlining. All right. So description, I'm going to have cash, accounts receivable, supplies, equipment, IP, accounts payable, common stock, dividends, and remember, in the previous video I had said retained earnings, right? This, because our trial balance doesn't, our January 15th trial balance doesn't have retained earnings, I'm not going to put it, but generally you have that retained earnings account there. Remember, that's going to show our profit and loss after we close and you'll see that in the next chapter. But right now, since the business started January 1st, we don't have anything in retained earnings, and that may be one of the reasons why they're not showing the retained earnings account on the trial balance. And we have service revenue, salaries expense, and rent expense. And then we have our totals. Okay. So now I'm not going to bounce back and forth. I mean, well, I could. So I have a debit of 5,700, debit of 5,800, 1,400, and 14,600. So in the debit column, first number gets a $sign, so I get 5,700, 5,800, 1,400, 14,600. Let's see, payables is a credit of 2,800, common stock is 21,600. So the first number in the credit column gets a $sign, and so that's 2,800 and 21,600. Dividends are 4,200. Revenue is 14,300. So dividends is a debit of 4,200. Revenue is a credit of 14,300. And then salary expense is 4,700 and rent expense is 2,300. So 4,700 and 2,300. Okay, so you draw an underline, meaning you're going to have a calculation. And then, of course, since it's the end of the calculation, you'll have to have a double underline. And you use the $sign to represent that it's dollars and not decimals. So we end up adding up all of those figures, and what we end up with is 38,700. And when we add those up, we end up with 38,700. And so our debits equal our credits, and that's the trial balance. Okay. And again, you could put in this, the account numbers here. I would, but I'm not going to, just to save some time. And this is what the formatting should look like. And realize that we're talking about having two columns here, one column and two columns, right? But notice I'm not using any lines on a paper. If I had 4-column paper, in other words, I had a column here, a third one here, and a fourth one here, well, then just use the 2 columns even though you have 4 columns, okay? Or use blank paper. It's not about the lines on the paper, it's about the formatting of the statement. And generally when you're going to present information you're going to create your financial statements that are going to go to a third party, you're going to run it through a word processor, okay? And you're going to be doing it on blank paper, and you're not going to have lines, but everything is going to be formatted correctly, all right? So that's it for this particular problem. We finished part number 3 here. Oh boy, and so that was number 3, preparing the trial balance, okay? And just as a quick look forward, problem 41, we're going to prepare a trial balance, and then we're going to create year-end statements and see if we're profitable. All right, so that'll be in another video, and most likely that'll cover 2 or 3 videos also. All right, so if you have any questions, go back and watch the, rewatch the videos. And if you're not understanding something about the theory, go back and watch the theory videos. Watch previous exercises or problems that were similar to this, because they are somewhat alike. Go back in the textbook, and if you still don't get it, then feel free to telephone and speak with an instructor. All right, so I'll see you in the next video for problem 41.